Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the Blood Bowl for tonight's contest. You join a capacity crowd packed with members of every race from across the known world, all howling like banshees in anticipation of tonight's game. Oh, and yes, there are some actual banshees. Well, kickoff is in about 20 minutes' time, so we've just got time to recap the rules of the game before the battle starts. Your match commentators for tonight are Jim and myself, Bob Bifford. Evening, Jim.
Thank you, Bob. Well, good evening. And boy, are you folks in for a great night of top-class sporting entertainment. But first of all, for those at home who are unfamiliar with the rules, here's how the game is transmitted to the folks at home and, of course, played.
Let me explain that, Jim. As any Blood Bowl fan knows, each match is transmitted out to thousands of Blood Bowl fans with the device Campaign for Real Arcade. The camera that was developed by the Guild's Magic, a bound spirit in a box allowed to look out in one direction at the Blood Bowl field, and his mental image is then transmitted by teams of magicians using the spell Cablevision.
And nowadays, you've got a lot of cameras, Bob. Since transmitting Blood Bowl matches has been a huge success, a lot more broadcasting guilds emerged on the market, such as NB,
Necromancer's Broadcasting Circle,
Channel 7, CBS,
Crystal Ball Service,
to name a few. But since ABC,
Association of Broadcasting Conjurers.
Thank you, Bob. Since the ABC won the franchise in 2486, when it was renewed for the 30th time, they have exclusive broadcasting rights nowadays.
That's too tricky. But let's explain for the folks at home what Blood Bowl the game really is. Blood Bowl is an epic conflict between two teams of heavily armored and quite insane warriors. Players pass, throw, or run with the ball, attempting to get it to the other end of the pitch, the end zone. Of course, the other team must try to stop them and recover the ball for their side. The team gets the ball over the line into the opponent's end zone. It's called a touchdown. The team that scores those touchdowns by the end of the match wins the game and are declared Blood Bowl champions. How do they?
It's like this, Bob. Two teams set up 11 players on the pitch. 11 is the sacred number of Nuffle, as any hardcore Blood Bowl fan would know. Today we're going to watch the gouged against the Reichland Reavers. This is yet another grudge match between the two teams.
And it seems the teams are entering the pitch now. Shall we get started, Jim? The coin is flipped in the air, and the brave Goblin referee announced that the Reichland Reavers will this half.
Right, let's get started. As any coach will tell you, Bob, starting formation is vitally important. Here we can see an example of the gouged eye, famous 5-4-2, or deep defense formation. This formation is used by the eye against fast-moving or agile teams like Skaven or Elves. Some would argue with limited success.
You said it, Jim. Notice how the gouged eye makes sure that there are no gaps in their line causing players to run through. Every square is covered by an orc player or one of his tackle zones.
Absolutely right, Bob. Each square around the player is a tackle zone, and it looks like, as an added insurance, have kept two players back deep, close to their own end zone, so they can catch enemy players lucky enough to dodge their way through the orc front line.
Jim, let's not forget that a team can only field 2 players in each one. Always of 3 players on the halfway line.
Okay, Bob, it seems like Reichland Reavers have set their offensive lineup and that the gouged eye are ready to kick the ball.
It's your turn, Jim. When both teams have finished their setup, the coach of the kicking team places the ball in any square in the opponent's half of the pitch.
That's right, Bob. Even place it in their end zone if he likes. After placing the ball, or scatter in random direction though, only up to a maximum of 7 in any of the 8 possible directions.
Those kicks are sure and accurate, Jim. That's why coaches sometimes prefer field the player with the kick skill, since it will cut the number of possible squares the ball will scatter by half. But more on those skills later.
That's right, Bob. The kick skill sure is useful. If the ball bounces off the pitch, or into the kicking team's half, the receiving team is awarded a touchback and can give the ball to any player in their team. Here goes the little referee with his bone whistle. It's time to roll!
And look at that kick! What a perfect kick by Truck L-Splitter! But what's up with the fans, Jim?
As you know, Bob, all kinds of things can happen during a Blood Bowl match. A team may make an inspired play, or raucous fans might throw a rock at one of the opposing team's players, or even invade the pitch. Coaches refer to them as kick-off events. There are lots of different outcomes. In this case, the cheering fans seem to run wild with anticipation.
Right, Jim. Keep an eye on those fans. It seems Blood Reavers got inspired by the fans cheering and got an extra reroll. No doubt their cheerleaders got the crowd going. Equally important is their assistant coaches. Fame, fan factor, during the kickoff events.
And that extra team reroll sure is handy for the Reavers, Bob. It allows them to reroll one dice roll per turn during the half. Rerolls are very important in Blood Bowl, as coaches quickly discover. There are 2 types of rerolls: team rerolls and player rerolls. In either case, a reroll allows you to reroll all the dice that produced any one result.
It sure is useful, Jim. So let's the match, shall we? It seems like the right-hand Reavers thrower, Fat Mid-Bro, is getting ready to pick up the ball, and the ball is just within his reach, since he got movement allowance 6.
Oh, take a look at that, Bob. He almost failed to pick the ball. Luckily enough for the Reavers, that Bit-Brock has the sure hand skill, which allowed him to re-roll the pickup roll, and he made it on the attempt.
True, Jim. Sure hands does come in handy at times. Maybe we should mention that the agility table is used for more than just pickups, Jim. It is also used to work out the success or failure of a number of different actions in Blood Bowl, including dodging, picking up the ball, and throwing or kicking the ball, to name but a few. Each action has its own set of modifiers, too, depending on how difficult the action is. It's these modifiers to the dice roll that affect whether or not the action is a success.
That's right, Bob. This all might sound complicated, but it's really easy to understand it all after a few games. For those that wish to draw their wisdom about Blood Bowl, I recommend taking a look at the official Blood Bowl rulebook.
You said it, Jim. But look at that. He's not done. He's about to throw a short pass to Grip Obervon.
That's a risky play so early in the turn, Bob. Usually coaches try to perform the easier actions first during their turn, because if anyone fails an action, it's their turn. In this case, it's fairly safe, since Fat Mid-Bro also has the pass skill, which allows him to re-roll a failed result.
Since the thrower has agility of 3, which means that he must roll more to be on target. No modifiers apply to the D6 roll because he is not in any tackle zones. Modifier for short pass is plus 0.
And he rolls a 4 and makes it. And Griff Oberval reaches for the ball and rolls a 2. He catches the ball. What an play so early in the game, Bob. For those that wish to view the agility table for passing the ball,
Sure is amazing, Jim. Regarding actions, such as passing, handoffs, and blitz moves, these actions can only be by one player per turn. However, it can be any player that takes actions. So don't worry about the names of the player positions. Help illustrate that blitzers are just better at blitzing, throwers are just better at passing the ball, and catchers are just better at catching the ball. Now back to the action on the pitch. The Reavers are trying to punch a hole in the gouged defense. Look at that, Jim. Their ogre prepares to smash gouged eye's black orc on the scrimmage line. Torpedo.
The people that do want to know why it's hard, I guess the people who don't know, just skip the tutorial altogether. To be done with.
they better stay with that big guy, Bob. He has a strength value of 5, and in this case, he is blocking the black orc, Rip Sorpe, who owns a strength of 4. Since the ogre has more strength than his opponent, it means he can roll 2 block dice and choose which one to use. For you folks at home, you can check the player's strength roll table for further information concerning what effects a player's strength have when blocking.
Look at that, Jim. He rolls defender down, and the defender stumbles. He uses the defender down result to push Rip Sorpe a square and make him flat on his back in the mud. And whenever a player hits the ground, you make an armor roll to see if his armor protects him from injury.
Lucky for that black orc, he's got some heavy armor on him, Bob. Oh, wait. It looks like I managed to break the black orc's armor and has caused a knockout result on the injury roll. That's because Zug has the extremely powerful Mighty Blow skill, which adds +1 to your armor roll. The Reavers go wild. After all, it's called Blood Bowl.
And brute pitch, we like that, Jim. Seems like the Reavers smashed up an opening. Look at Jean-Paul Lucen. Reavers catcher is running right through their defense. I smell a touchdown soon, Jim.
Looks like it.
Not so far, Bob. He still needs to make a dodge roll to bypass the gouged eye's solid defense.
That's right, Jim. And while he squeezes through the defense, he rolls a 3 and successfully dodges through, since he needs to roll a 3 or more.
Too right, but look, it looks like Griff Oberwald will dodge through and make a go for it to hand off the ball to Jean-Paul Lucen.
That's all true, Jim. While all players can go for it, 2 additional squares of movement, they need to roll a D6 See if they can make it. On a 1, they will fall flat on the ground in the square if failed, and therefore must make an armor roll, and it will cause a team turnover.
Right-click on the square.
Some high-quality play there, Bob. Griff Oberwald dodges through and goes for it to the catcher. And
That's all nice, Jim, but I want to see more.
That's right, Bob. Once per turn, a player on the moving team is allowed to make a special blitz move. A blitz allows the player to move and make a block. The block may be made at any point during the move, but costs 1 square of movement for the player to make.
That's one tough blitzer, Jim. Since Griff Oberwald assisted him, he had +1 strength, giving him a strength value of 4. So he gets to roll 2 block dice and choose the result. Fortunately, he has rolled both down twice, but fortunately Matthias Meyer has the block skill, which allows him to ignore the both down result. But since poor old Truck Elf Splitter does not have the block skill, he goes down. What a blitz he made, Jim!
Indeed, Bob. The player may carry on moving after the effects of the block have been worked out, if he has any squares of movement left. It seems like he is moving up next to the catcher to protect him.
But look, Jim, what is Peter Van Gullet trying to do? It looks like he'll fall over and cause a turnover. Normally, a turn only ends when all the players in the team have performed an action. However, certain events cause the turn to end before all the players have taken an action.
Turnover! Not even the team reroll helped them there, Bob. This doesn't look good for the Reavers, since Jean-Paul Mousset is wide open for a blitz.
Did you see that, Jim? Since Krug Painspear has the tackle skill, Jean-Paul Mousset is knocked down with a defender stumbles, even though he has the dodge skill, which would normally allow him to regard that as a simple pushback. What a blitz! That looks like a spleen gone awry. Brutal and bloody just the way we like it.
That's assuming the apothecary can mend him, Bob. The apothecary allows a reroll of any injury, and you can choose the newest. Bob, I'm not so sure about that. He might be a good thrower when it comes to throwing it downfield, but it looks like Cannonball Benny is about to attempt a risky pass to Varag Galchua, and Griff Oberwald is in a great position to make an interception attempt. Can't he see him?
That's right, Jim. The crowd holds its breath as Griff leaps to intercept the pass. He needs an agility roll of 3 or more. However, a player making an interception attempt suffers a -2 modifier, which means that Griff will need a score of 5 or 6 to catch the ball.
And there goes Griff Oberwald, sprinting down the field to score Reichland Reavers' first touchdown. And listen to those fans, Bob, howling like banshees and ragged wolves.
What a touchdown, Jim! Did you see that? Amazing! But the game is far from over. This is just warming up. 6 turns remain in the first half, and then we got a full second half with 8 more turns before this game is over.
This is equals.
Oh, boy, Bob, this'll be really interesting. May Knuckle always bless his duck. Lock up the wife and kids, take a 6-pound fridge, and settle down into your favorite chair for some feisty entertainment.
A true sport for true men. When a guy goes down in the hole, you don't expect him to be getting back up.
What a nice day! Perfect bowl weather, Bob.
Yes, Jim, ideal weather for a game of Blood Bowl. Though I'm not sure it'll end nicely for all the players. Doping is really endemic in this sport.
Written into the game rule.